Okay, I understand that you're watching this video because you want to know how you can play with confidence again on the pitch, how you can be the best player that you want to be on the pitch, man. I'm just gonna be as honest as I can. Okay, so I'm gonna take you back to a story from when you were a little kid. Remember that when you were a little kid, when you were just playing with your friends, maybe in the street, maybe you were playing in your backyard or something like that, just playing with your friends, and there was no pressure, you were just enjoying, and you just played basically every single day, maybe after school, on the weekends, and it was great. And that's when you fell in love with the sport. Me personally, I grew up like that, playing with my friends, my backyard. And what I want to get across here is, what if you started treating the way that you played back then, with no pressure, that you just want to enjoy, with no pressure from coaches, no pressure of making any mistakes, but just returning to that sort of like childlike state of playing the sport, that just going back to that feeling of just wanting to enjoy, get on the pitch and enjoy. I think that one of the mistakes that I made while I was still playing, and this is something I regret, is that every time when I got on the pitch, I would think to myself that this is now we're now active, we're now in work mode, just tapped in, we're now in work mode, no funny business, just serious work, just being serious, and I'm not saying that's bad, but I think sometimes when we focus on that serious aspect of the game, we tend to forget that we also have to have fun in the process of playing football. Like, that was the sole reason why we started playing football in the first place, because we enjoyed playing it. But then as we get older, we start to take it seriously, we start to get pressured by coaches, we start to get pressured by teammates, and now we get scared of making mistakes because now we are taking the sport too seriously. You have to be okay with making mistakes. That's what I'm trying to get across. But the main factor that I'm trying to communicate here, guys, is you have to return to that childlike state, man. You have to return to that feeling of being excited every time when you hear that there's a match tomorrow or a match next weekend. You have to be excited to get on the pitch and showcase your abilities. Look, at the end of the day, the same football that you played when you were a kid, it's the same football that you play today. But because you have built these mental prisons in your head that you have to be serious at all times, you have to not make mistakes, and because you have built those mental prisons in your head, that sort of restrains you into playing a certain way, which is not being creative, which is not producing for the team. That brings me to my next point that I want to communicate. Creativity. Creativity is very important when you're a football player. It's more important even in the midfield positions and even in the forward positions. The reason why you play it too safe is because you have now made the sport, you have taken the sport too seriously, man. Too seriously, to the point that you now fear to make mistakes, and you always want to do the right thing, follow the system, do this and that, and not make any mistakes. And now that takes the joy away. It takes the joy away from the game. That you have to be creative on the pitch, man. Look, I'm not against playing one-touch football, two-touch football, passing movements and all that. I'm not against that. But I'm just saying that sometimes you have to be creative on the pitch and make something happen, man. So, like, seriously, you cannot play two-touch football the whole match. That's just the simple truth. The best players don't even do that. You have to tap into that childlike state when you had that creativity on the pitch, when you enjoyed making dribbles, making key passes, taking long shots, man. Like, you have to take your mind back to that childlike state of enjoying the game, man. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Creativity. You will only unlock that creativity once you start enjoying again the same way you enjoyed when you were a kid. Okay, now I'm going to discuss the last point that I want to get across here, and that is pressure. Pressure that we get from coaches and teammates. That's something I have mentioned earlier in this video, but I want to get more into depth with pressure from teammates and coaches. Look, the pressure is always going to be there. It's always going to be there. The coaches are always going to be looking at you to do something good. Your teammates are always going to be relying on you. That is just a fact. I'm not taking that away from what I'm about to say. But at the same time, what do you do? How do you define a good performance? How do you define a good performance for yourself and for your team? How are you helping your team win? Sometimes you have to step out of that system of how the team plays. The best players, they step out of that system and start enjoying the game again.
So look, man, if you want to get into that zone where you are now just free flowing, just playing your best football, just enjoying your football, you're just locked in that mentality where you're now locked in and no one can stop you, man. You have to start playing like a little kid again. Just imagine yourself as that kid who fell in love with the sport in the first place and who enjoyed playing the sport. That is the only way you will get into that zone where you're just unstoppable on the pitch, where you are enjoying your football, where you are locked in. You will only get to that zone when you start enjoying the sport again, the same way that you were enjoying it when you were a kid.
Okay, guys, we have made it to the end of this video. Thank you so much if you made it till the end. If this was helpful, make sure to give the video a thumbs up. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't subscribed. And yeah, I'm out.